Hopefully you guys are having a good night. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. William, you kind of walk out a little bit?
Yeah, guys, so it's basically like an outdoor Q&A for like moose hunting and hunting in general. Dad's going to be trying to answer some of your guys' questions, so see how it goes.
Hey everyone, so I don't know how many of you want to wait a few minutes.
Yeah, just wait. Like, there's already one person on with over 100,000 subscribers. First guy on. Has a little check right now. You got like 3 people in already.
Oh, yeah,
4, 5.
So I guess basically what we're going to be doing tonight, the boys asked me if I would maybe do a question and answer period specifically for moose hunting, but I can certainly answer some questions for whitetail or for bear as well. And kind of going to open it up to whatever you guys want to speak about. So whether it's stand placement for whitetail or bear, or if you want to talk about moose habitat or moose calling scenarios, whatever, I'm totally up.
Yeah,
for whatever you just want to talk about.
We did like a video of this, like a long form video. It didn't end up going very well, but like we thought, like since our live streams are going well, we might be able to reach quite a bit of people tonight. So that's going to kind of be the goal. But William's just going to keep us updated on questions, guys. So if you have any questions that have to do with hunting or anything like that, put it down in the chat. And William's right there. He's going to try to read them for you, and then we'll try to answer it a little bit. So. But we'll just wait for the first questions to come on.
16 people, so.
Okay. So I can just tell you a little bit about myself, I guess. So I'm Shane Lomax. I'm owner-operator of an outfitting company here in southwest New Brunswick called Biff Ventures Outfitting, and I'm William and Elijah's father. And so I run a bear camp, and we also have a non-resident moose hunt in the province. And I love whitetail hunting. We don't do a lot of outfitting for whitetail hunting. We do some. But my primary focus over the years has been bear hunting and moose hunting for outfitting. But we personally hunt whitetail and some waterfowl, although that's not our forte for sure. Big game is our forte for sure. And now we have an awesome turkey hunt in the province. So New Brunswick just last year was the first year that we actually had a non-resident turkey hunt in the province, and we're now the 4th province in Canada that allows for turkey hunting.
Yeah, so next week is going to be really good because we're actually getting out Monday. Going to be out there trying to get a turkey. We have some good birds that we've been scouting for. Should be an awesome video, guys, so stay tuned to that.
Okay, well, just explain what's going on because there's 90 people.
How many?
90.
Alright guys, so today what we're doing is we're just going to be taking questions that you guys have for us about the outdoors. It could literally be anything, but we're trying to focus on hunting tonight. Big game questions for like moose hunting, deer hunting. Sometimes you guys have questions that don't get answered in videos, so tonight just kind of for that. So.
Someone asked, how hard is turkey hunting?
So turkey is it's a lot of fun. This is a new hunt for the province, so we've only been hunting turkey in the province of New Brunswick for 4 years now. So we're still learning. I've been lucky enough personally to be drawn the last 3 years. And because of the interaction with the birds is very similar to what I would call my most fun hunt, which is the moose. Because you're trying to fool the animal, fool the bird, there's a lot of interaction back and forth with calling. So it can be very simple sometimes, but it also can be very difficult. New Brunswick, because it's a new hunt, a lot of the birds aren't wise yet. So I know that some pressured states, a lot of the birds have been overhunted and they hear people calling all the time, and I don't feel that's the way yet in New Brunswick. So sometimes things can line up and go very easily, but it's still hunting, so it's not catching. And we experienced that last year. We had a lot of close calls. We ended up shooting our birds, but it was day 3 or day 4 before we ended up, Elijah and I both tagged out last year's turkey hunt. So it can happen very, very simple, but it also sometimes the birds just don't want to cooperate.
Yeah, so. Like last year I learned to be a patient hunter because by the end of the week I was just ready to shoot a jake. So
it can be frustrating, but that's part of hunting, and that's with anything, not just turkeys. So
any more questions, Will?
Not really yet.
Alright, any questions yet?
So feel free to ask,
Oh, here's one. Is a 270 a good caliber to hunt deer with?
It is, yeah. I don't personally use a 270. I grew up shooting a 30-06 as kind of my utility gun, go-to gun for bear, moose, and deer. 30-06, if anything, it's on the light side, even for moose, but a 270, very flat shooting, fast gun, and I would say that probably half the guys that hunt whitetail in New Brunswick either hunt with a 308 or a 270, and some guys use a 30-06, but that's a very normal caliber for a whitetail for sure.
Yeah, and if you guys see our videos where we're rifle hunting, every single video so far has been with the 30-06. It's just because they're such a reliable gun, and it's the gun that we prefer when we're hunting.
I've used a 7mm. I actually was I had a new one made for me last year, a 7mm, and it's the first one that I've had real success with. I've had 7mm before, bolt actions that I just didn't find as accurate as my go-to 30-06. I've got a black stalker made by Browning, and it's been a wonderful gun, tack shooter out of the box, and that's been kind of our go-to weapon for big game in the province. That's what we kind of go with. But 300 Win Mag, 7mm, great moose guns. I've had clients for bear hunt shoot 45-70s, 454 Bushmasters, all types of bigger caliber gun, but its shot placement is very, very important, and the 270 will absolutely do the job.
Yeah, so it's definitely all the like shot placement and stuff. So guys, yeah, feel free to ask more questions. We're here to answer them. So William's back there going to try to read a couple if you guys have any, so send them in.
What's the biggest animal you've ever hunted?
So by far it's moose. I've been outfitting for moose since 2014. Started my outfitting business in 2012 with bear, and we've harvested some absolutely giant bulls. My wife, actually, these boys' mom, shot the archery provincial record, the largest bull ever taken in the province of New Brunswick last year in 2024. And it was her first moose hunt ever. It took her 15 years to draw the tag, and she shot a 63.5-inch spread bull that scored 184 and 5/8, which is the archery record of all time for the province of New Brunswick. So the biggest bull that I've ever shot was a 52-inch spread 18 point that I shot in northern Quebec. As far as the mass and the horns, it was a really, really good bull, especially for that area, public land. But the bull itself dressed 1,020, so it was actually 1,020 empty, which is putting that animal at 1,300 to 1,400 pounds on the hoof, which is a very large animal. That's the biggest. I've never traveled overseas to do any African hunting, and you would pretty well have to do that in order to get into a bigger size animal. And I've had lots of clients over the years that have come here bear hunting that have done African game, but in the U.S. and Canada, the moose is the biggest one that you can get. So. And
we did not get Mom's Hunt on film. There was another TV production that did, but if you guys want to go back and watch the moose hunt video that we had this fall, it was a really cool video. We had like 9 tags in the camp, and I think we got like 3 of those hunts on camera or something like that. But it's a really good video. Got like 10,000 views, so go check that out, guys.
So I also co-host a show that's based out of northern Quebec. It's called Bête de Chasse, and in English it's The Hunting Beast. So it was primarily a French production, but they launched into the US, so now it's on the Sportsman channel. It airs on the Sportsman channel, so if you guys want to check out some of the YouTube stuff, you can look up Bête de Chasse or The Hunting Beast, and this is our 3rd season that we've been in the US, and we did 8 episodes, season 1 and 2, and this year we have 12 coming, which will include Ashley's hunt, as well as a big bull moose that we actually speared. I guided on that one for a 5-meter shot with a spear, it was absolutely insane footage, some of the craziest footage you'll ever see. So
awesome.
What's your favorite brand of gun?
Well, there's a lot of good brands. Personally, I shoot a Browning. I can't argue with results. So because I've had such good success with Browning, I've had no issues with my gun. I shoot a 30-06 bolt action Browning. We have lots of shotguns, different rifles in our cabinet, but that is our go-to weapon. So Fierce firearms, that Antler firearms. I have a custom 7mm gun that I had made, last year. I guess last year was the first whitetail that I actually shot with. It was in the 7mm. But it's a very expensive gun. So depending on what your budget is, you can buy, you know, a relatively cheap rifle in, you know, probably in a 30-06 or a 308 or a 300, in a Browning, you know, for $1,200 to $1,500 probably. And they're tax shooters. And, you know, you can spend as much as you want, you know, that fierce firearm that I'm talking about that was made that in the 7mm, that's a $5,000 gun. And I would not be paying personally for that gun just because it's just too much money. It would be out of my budget to have it. But you can spend whatever you want. But we've had very, very good luck with Browning, and I've got no complaints whatsoever. So
My favorite is a Ruger pellet gun, so. Alright, you want to switch for a minute?
Yep.
Alright. Well, I'm just gonna go up there.
Scroll up a little.
Alright. Okay, guys, what is the best state or Canadian province to hunt in?
well, depending on what you're looking to hunt. So all of Canada has black bear. Basically, you can hunt black bear in basically every province. We offer a coastal sort of black bear hunt that is not reminiscent of like a Vancouver Island, like West Coast coastal hunt, but we do have a very good hunt here in the province, and now you're allowed to harvest 2 bears in our province. We have really good whitetail hunting in southern part of the province. Ontario, Quebec also has very good black bear hunting, and Ontario, southern Ontario has very good whitetail as well. When you move west of Ontario, you can get into Manitoba, Saskatchewan, which are known for whitetail, muley, and for big black bear. So the further west you go, there's a little bit more variety because you actually get, once you get to Saskatchewan, northern Saskatchewan and Alberta, you can get some elk as well, BC. And then of course, if you get into the Yukon, you know, everything is there. But Canada is a great place to hunt because you can basically go to any province and hunt some big game. And now we're province number 4 that has a wild turkey hunt as well. So New Brunswick has whitetail, black bear, turkey. Quebec would have turkey, black bear, and moose. And Ontario would have all of them as well, but you'd have to travel to the northern part of that province to do that. So Newfoundland has great moose, moose hunting and black bear. The genetic is not as good in Newfoundland, so when I say I shoot a big bull here in the province of New Brunswick, I'm looking for a 50-inch plus. And if you shot a 50-inch in Newfoundland, it would be very special. They have a really, really big population, but they tend to be a smaller moose and a smaller antlered moose, as opposed to northern New Brunswick where we hunt. So.
Yeah, guys, put some of your hunting questions down below. That's what we don't have a ton in right now, like ton of questions, but I'm just gonna I'm trying to read some right here. So, see here. There's some of these. What is most commonly caught fish? Yeah, I guess you just to kind of talk about what our fish species is here and stuff.
Okay. So in New Brunswick, we have a really good mix of saltwater and freshwater fishing. So I would say prominently in our province, we have striped bass for probably the main target species for saltwater fishing. Southern New Brunswick, the St. John River area has large, like a larger species of the striped bass, but other rivers along the northern shore of New Brunswick, Miramichi River has an incredible run of striped bass, tend to be a little bit smaller fish, but they actually use the Miramichi tributary for spawning. They have an incredible spring run, and they also return to the river in the fall to winter. So we have really, really good striped bass fishing in the province. But we also have flounder, mackerel, and other species that eat, but in smaller numbers. Usually when I have guys coming in for an outfitted hunt, we always get out for a flounder fish, you know, flatfish, sole, which is fantastic eating, and we'll try to do a striper fish. Freshwater, we have really good smallmouth bass, and largemouth is actually entering the province as well, so we're getting really good fishing as well. But we have like chain pickerel, and trout. We have some really good lakes in the province that offer some toad fishing, landlocked salmon, and sea trout, or and lake trout fishing as well. So
Do you eat what you harvest?
we 100% do, absolutely. We last year we were able to shoot one moose completely for us. My wife shot a big bull, and we shot 11 deer together. I think we shot 7 bucks and 4 nuisance doe tags. And we basically do not buy beef. We feed our family on what we hunt. So we shoot bear, we shoot moose, we shoot deer, we shoot turkey, and we also do small game too. So sometimes we get some rabbits, we do some pies out of that, and partridge. We absolutely, even the boys, Squirrel Pursuit boys, they eat their squirrel that they shoot as well. So that's part of the deal here. And
Yeah.
we eat what we hunt for sure. So good question.
Just talk. A bunch of people are saying, how long have you been hunting for?
So I've been hunting since I was a little kid. My father was an avid hunter and trapper. I'm 44. My father's 75, still hunts with me, still outfits with me. He's still in the woods bear baiting with me now until as much as he can. He's not as able as he once was, but he certainly puts his time in with me. Started off basically rabbit and partridge hunting. I didn't really I started deer hunting younger. Probably late teens. You had to be 18 when I was that age in order to big game hunt. Now the province thankfully has lowered that age, so now the kids can hunt at 12. They can duck hunt, deer hunt, bear hunt, and moose hunt at a younger age than what we could when I was at that age. So I've been hunting since I was a kid. I started prominently bear hunting in my late 20s. It was not something that my father did, so it was something I picked up with a friend of mine. And I've been outfitting now this is year 11 that I've been actually outfitting for bear. So
Yeah, there's not like a ton of questions. There's like just a bunch of comments, but there's not a ton of questions, guys. If you have any more, put them down. We'll just be on for a couple more minutes. But if you guys have anything else,
feel free to ask questions about how we bear hunt, how we moose hunt, how we deer hunt, baiting, different styles of hunting, spot and stock, whatever. Feel free to launch those questions out there. I'll do my best to answer them for you.
do you eat the bear?
We do. We love bear. Bear is probably one of our favorite meals. We love a bear roast, and I actually use a Traeger, have a Traeger smoker that we've been using for a little while, and we've found that the bear meat is some of the best meat that you'll ever get in the woods. It's fantastic. It's all in preparation, taking your time to butcher it right. And that's no different for deer, bear, or moose. So, but bear, we absolutely love it, and we do eat it for sure. So,
Someone's just wondering about like the rules on like hunting female bears and stuff.
so in our province, you are allowed to harvest a female, like a sow, but only in the fall. So you're not allowed to hunt a female with cubs in the spring. So if 5 clients coming in, that's important. That's why it's important that we use trail cameras, and I know, basically what is at my sites, because I try my best to educate my hunters that come in to make sure that we don't shoot a sow, and especially that we don't make a mistake and shoot a sow that has little ones. The cubs coming out of den, they're born in January in the den, and they're bowling ball size when they come out in the spring. So it's very easy to miss them or not see them. So it's really important to make sure that you take your time making that shot, especially over bait in the spring. So you are allowed to shoot a sow in the province, but not if they have a cub with them or a couple cubs. So that's the rule.
All right. I'm just gonna see if there's any more, guys.
How many are on there?
Over 100.
Okay.
Oh, someone just donated $1. Thank you, Walker Greg. Let's
Thank
go.
you for the donation.
Awesome. Thank
So
you.
Donations, guys, if you're donating to the Boys Channel, they are actually saving up for a trip to Florida. So they're planning on going on a hog hunt fishing trip, and you try to squeeze in something else, maybe a bow fishing or something like that. But they're going to try to get on a hog hunt and a fishing trip. So they've been saving up some money. So if you're going to be donating, that's where the funds are going to right now, anyway. So we've actually been monetized now, and we're gonna try to save some money so we can make some more content for you guys, the viewers, to watch. They wanna put some money back into their channel, and by doing that for their viewership, they wanna be able to do some trips and have some good videos, good content for you guys to enjoy for weeks to come ahead. So,
And there's another $2 from Jamie OEO. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank
the
you for that.
donation.
Is there anything else, guys, before we wrap up?
is there anything else that you guys wanna have a chat about? I mean, you,
Hunting.
Oh yeah, Hunting Hook actually. Yeah, guys. So we just got a new sponsor. It's Hunting Hook. It's like an outdoor apparel brand, guys, and they've got really cool stuff. They have like shirts, sweaters, and like hoodies, hats, everything you guys can kind of think of for apparel. They have. It's good hunting stuff, and we actually have a discount code if you guys want to go get some. And the promo code is Squirrel15, all caps. You can go get 15% off anything in their store. I think there's a link on our latest video in the description, so it's really good.
so you could maybe just say about Doran
Yeah.
Sports as well.
So these sweaters are actually from Doran Sports, and they're primarily like a sports store, but they do fishing as well. So we got the sponsor from them, and also iHunter. So it's an outdoor hunting GPS mapping system that we use. It's an app you can download on your phone, iHunter, and you can go get 20% off their pro version by using Squirrel Pursuit, all caps, as well. So
Yeah, so make sure that you take advantage of some of those promo codes to get some of the swag gear that these guys sport around, so.
Yep.
Anything else there? Ryan?
Can you eat bear organs?
I think you can eat anything. Would I eat bear organs? I haven't personally. Normally, to be honest with you, you can actually, I usually, because bears, the ribs themselves, there's not much meat. A bear is actually one of those animals where you don't get a lot of meat off of. So I actually don't cut into the gut at all. When we harvest a bear, I usually take the hams and the shoulders and the back straps and the loins out without actually getting into the cavity. So I actually don't even cut into the belly at all. So I just kind of leave. I know there's some medicinal purposes to like the bear gall, you know, that would sell it or do anything, but there is medicinal purposes. There's people I know that have used it for, so I think people do. I don't personally. I love bear roast, I love bear steaks and all that, but you know, I'm not that hungry to have to go and eat some organs out of a bear, but good question. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with doing it. We just don't eat the organs.
it's not the primary cut that we have.
For sure.
What's the most animals you've hunted in one day?
Most animals are
Probably
gonna-
ducks.
Yeah, other than waterfowl, I guess. So you're only allowed, in our province, we're only allowed to shoot one deer, one buck a year. And if you're lucky enough to get a nuisance doe, you can shoot a doe. One doe. Last year in moose camp, we actually had, in our group, we had 9 moose tags, which is the biggest group that I've ever been part of on a moose hunt. And we had shot 9 moose in 2.5 days. So the hunt starts on a Tuesday morning, and by Thursday at lunchtime, we were all tagged out. We had 9 moose, and there were 8 of them were 8 bulls and 1 big cow. So at an average of say 700 pounds an animal, 650, 700 pounds an animal, we killed about 6,000 pounds worth of moose in about 2.5 days. So that was pretty good. It was a lot of eating, and we're still enjoying the meat from that harvest. And there was about 40 of us in camp, so it fed a lot of people. So
What is the process after you get a bear?
So the process for after we get a bear here in New Brunswick, it has to be tagged immediately. So depending on what time of year, if you shoot it in the spring, later in the spring, it can get pretty warm here. So dealing with your meat right away is very important. It's primary. One of the things that we do right away is try to get the hide off of the bear. So if you can get it into a cool place, hung up, or get the hide off it that night to make sure that the meat is good. So we have to tag it before it comes out of the woods. So as it's going on the truck or as we drag it out, we're putting the tag on it, making sure that it's legal. And then we can now actually register online, so you don't have to bring it to a DNR station now, you can actually do it online. So the responsibility is on the hunter to prove that it was shot, harvested legally. And then you're also you also can print off a meat permit that you can bring it to the butcher and keep one for yourself as well. And if you're gonna use the hide for taxidermy or you're gonna get the head done, you can actually, bring a piece of paper to the taxidermist as well, so.
Big thing too is just like bears also have like a black coat too, so the quicker you can get off the coat off them, the better. And they also don't have a ton of meat on them, like we just said a minute ago too. So you don't want to be wasting the meat that you don't have to waste. Like get the hide off them if you can.
Do you eat bears?
Yeah, we already answered that one.
Yeah.
And we love it. It's really, really good meat. So we absolutely do eat the bear, for sure.
What animal do you shoot the most?
Well, we're a family of 6, and we all hunt bear, deer, and moose. So it's probably those 3. Our freezers and our fridges are full of those 3 types of animal all year round, because in the fall we stock up. We harvest what we're legally allowed each year, and we give friends, family, whoever, if there's a need, and we eat bear, deer, moose all year round. So. And we also like wild hog, and the boys I put a plug in a little while ago, the boys are actually saving up to go on a trip down south to get some more content for the channel, so they want to reinvest in the channel. So if you guys want to donate, that's where the primary focus of the donations are. They're going to be going on a fishing trip, hunting trip down south to get some video, to keep the good fresh content going for the channel. We have a turkey hunt starting on Monday, so I got drawn again for the provincial draw for wild turkey. So we're going to be doing a wild turkey video. We've already got that started, and the hunt actually starts Monday morning, so we're looking forward to that as well.
That's good. I just want to say again, guys, thank you so much for the support you guys have given to us over this past month. There was a week when we gained like 20,000 subscribers, guys, and you guys have been just supporting through donations so much too as well. Way more than we ever thought we could ever get, but it's all because of you guys. Just want to give thanks to that. So.
How many bears can you get in a year?
2. So we're allowed 2 each in the province, and that's resident and non-resident. So we are allowed to harvest 2 each.
What's your biggest deer?
So the biggest deer I ever shot, body-wise, dressed 232 pounds. I've actually harvested 2 deer that weighed 232 pounds empty. I've shot several that weighed over 200, 209, 215. The largest deer rack size was a non-typical 18 point with 15 scoreable points, shot with my bow in 21. That gross score was 164 change. I think it netted because it had a double beam, 17-inch double beam on the right side. So it had a lot of non-typical junk in it or whatever, and I think it's going to go in the bulk around 160 inches for the New Brunswick Big Game Club. So that's the biggest one that I've harvested myself.
Want to take like one more question?
Yep.
We'll answer one more question, guys, before we wrap up.
What's the best gun for deer?
So, in my opinion, a 30-06 bolt action is kind of the go-to gun for me. There's all kinds of good caliber rifles from 270, 308, 30-06, 300. Some of the rifles are like even a 243. I have friends that use a 243. I would rather use a heavier load, a little bigger rifle with a little bit more gumption. Shot placement to me is more important than anything. It always has been and always will be. But when you make a marginal shot, a heavier load is going to take that deer down, and that's why I feel like using something like a 30-06 as your kind of go-to rifle is it's one of those decisions that you can make to help eliminate losing a deer or whatever. And because if you have a good broadside shot with the 243, or even a 22-250 is legal in our province, and you can drop a deer with it, but would I do it? No. I would want to use a little heavier gun just to make sure that we make a good ethical shot.
Yeah.
And
Ethical. Being ethical. Yeah.
for sure.
Well, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, so if you guys like these guys, hope you guys are enjoying these. It was just a little bit different style because usually we're outside fishing. Tomorrow, guys, I know it's a bit different, but tomorrow we should be out again fishing, so it'll be a good stream. And yeah, so anything you want to say, William, before we wrap up?
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to give towards their trip south for hog hunting and fishing, you want to see some more content like the boys have been putting out, feel free to do that, and appreciate your loyalty to the channel.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you later.